Dear ladies and gentlemen, today I want to give you something powerful, not just hope, but action. And all I'm asking for is 18 minutes of your time. Yes, just 18 minutes. Why 18? Because it's short enough to do now, but long enough to change the way you think about someone who's no longer meant to stay. We've all been there. The late night thoughts, the messages we almost sent, the old photos we can't delete. We romanticize what was and ignore what's real. But here's the truth. If they were right for you, they'd still be here. Breakups hurt, but staying stuck, that's worse. So today, in 18 focused minutes, we're not pretending to forget, we're deciding to let go. Because you deserve peace, not confusion. You deserve clarity, not mixed signals. You deserve to stop checking your phone for someone who's not checking on you. Minute by minute, we're going to shift our mindset from heartbreak to healing, from holding on to letting go, from victim to survivor. This isn't about hate. It's about reclaiming your energy. This isn't about forgetting them. It's about remembering you. So let this be the moment where you say, I loved, I lost, I learned. And now I move on. When we think about healing from heartbreak, especially from someone we deeply loved, we often assume it must take an endless amount of time, weeks, months, maybe even years. We convince ourselves that moving on is some slow, agonizing process that drags us through every emotion repeatedly, and that will only feel better once some undefined amount of time has magically passed. But here's what most people don't realize: healing doesn't start with time. It starts with a decision, a single mental shift, one moment of clarity that says, enough, that decision. It can happen right now, in the next 18 minutes. No, we're not saying that in 18 minutes, you'll forget the person, delete every memory, or erase the pain. That's unrealistic and unnecessary. But what is possible, and what matters more, is that you initiate a shift, a new way of thinking, a change in focus. Because healing isn't about waking up one day suddenly over it. It's about choosing to respond differently to the pain, starting now. It's about deciding that your peace is more important than your past. Think about this. How many minutes have you already given them in your thoughts, in your tears, in your doubts? How many minutes have you replayed the same scenes, reread the same messages, asked yourself the same questions, hoping for different answers? Thousands of minutes, tens of thousands, maybe more. And yet for all that time, has it brought them back? Has it given you peace? If 10,000 minutes of heartbreak hasn't helped you heal, maybe all you need is 18 intentional minutes of clarity. In these 18 minutes, you're not just sitting in silence, you're reclaiming control. You're turning the energy you gave to them back toward yourself. You're asking better questions, not why did they leave, but what do I deserve next? You're allowing yourself to feel, but not to drown in it. You're taking back your mental space. And most importantly, you're choosing to move, even if it's just a small step. A shift in mindset isn't about instantly feeling happy. It's about being willing to let go of the fantasy you built around someone who's no longer part of your future. It's about recognizing that holding on is costing you more than letting go. It's about realizing that pain may not be your fault, but healing is your responsibility. In 18 minutes, you can write a letter to your ex that you never send, to say everything you've been holding in. In 18 minutes, you can delete old messages that have been keeping you tied to false hope. In 18 minutes, you can journal about what you've learned and what you want going forward. In 18 minutes, you can sit in silence and cry. Not because you're weak, but because you're freeing yourself. The power isn't in the number. It's in the intention. Most people don't heal slowly because time isn't working. They heal slowly because they're not doing the inner work. They're waiting for time to do what only a mindset shift can accomplish. Healing begins when you decide, this moment matters more than the last memory. My future matters more than my past. My peace matters more than my pain. And once you decide that, Even just a few minutes can mark the beginning of a new chapter. So yes, 18 minutes is more than enough, not to erase the love, but to reclaim your life. If they were right for you, they wouldn't have left. It's such a simple sentence. And yet, when your heart is broken, it's the hardest one to accept. After a breakup, especially one that left you with no closure, your mind spirals. You play detective, searching for reasons, replaying conversations, wondering if it was your fault. You think about what you could have said differently, what you could have done more of, how you could have fixed things if only you had one more chance. But here's a truth many people avoid because it's painful. You don't have to chase someone who was truly meant to stay. People who are right for you don't leave you guessing. They don't make you question your worth. They don't run at the first sign of conflict or let you beg for the bare minimum. If someone walks away, or worse, if they stay but make you feel alone while standing next to you, that's not a sign of compatibility. That's a sign that something was broken and you were holding it together alone. We often confuse attachment with alignment. Just because you loved someone deeply doesn't mean they were right for you. Love can be real and still be wrong. You can feel an intense connection, share beautiful memories, plan a future, and still not be meant to build that future together. There is no shame in loving someone who couldn't love you back in the way you deserved. But there is danger in continuing to believe that they were the one, just because it hurts to let go. Sometimes the pain doesn't come from losing them. It comes from losing the version of the relationship you imagined in your head. The potential, the fantasy, the what could have been. But the truth is, if they truly aligned with your values, your needs, your growth, they would have stayed. Real love doesn't threaten to walk away when things get hard. It leans in, it communicates, it tries. You need to understand something very clearly. Someone walking away doesn't mean you're unlovable. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It means the version of them that you were with, or maybe the version of yourself you had to shrink into just to keep the relationship going, wasn't sustainable. We often say, but they were everything to me. But were you everything to them? Did they meet you halfway? Did they show up consistently? Or were you loving them from a place of desperation, afraid that if you stopped giving so much, they'd walk? And then, one day, they walked anyway, proving that your overgiving was never going to be enough to make them stay. That's not love. That's imbalance. People who are truly meant for you want to grow with you. They want to resolve problems, not avoid them. They want to support your evolution, not feel threatened by it. They don't disappear when things get real. So when someone chooses to leave, let them. Don't beg them to reconsider. Don't hold on to the hope that one day they'll come back and realize your worth, because if they couldn't see your value when they had full access to your heart, your time, and your energy, then they don't deserve to re-enter when you've finally begun to heal. The right person will not need convincing. They won't require you to perform or pretend. They won't use silence as punishment. They won't make you compete for their attention or affection. Love should not be a battle you constantly lose. It should be a safe space, a refuge, a partnership, not a performance. So instead of obsessing over why they left, ask yourself this: why are you trying to hold on to someone who had no problem letting you go? You deserve someone who chooses you in every moment, not just in the good ones. You deserve someone who doesn't see your emotional needs as too much, but rather sees them as a window into understanding you deeper. You deserve someone who says, "I'm here," and means it, not someone who disappears and comes back when it's convenient. Letting go isn't admitting defeat. It's refusing to keep investing in someone who already made it clear they're not invested in you. It's not about pride, it's about protecting your peace. When someone walks out of your life, don't chase. Don't shrink. Don't spiral. Honor the exit. Because in that exit, there is truth. The truth that if they were right for you, truly aligned with your heart, your purpose, your journey, they wouldn't have left. And now that they're gone, it's time to stop rewriting the past and start protecting your future. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the heaviest things we carry after a breakup is not the memory of the person, but the weight of emotions we leave unexpressed. Pain, anger, regret, confusion, they all sit inside our hearts like an overcrowded room where no light can enter. And until we release this baggage, until we open the door and let those emotions flow out, we will remain prisoners of our own feelings. Think about it. How often do we hold back our tears because we don't want to look weak? How often do we silence our screams because we don't want the world to know we are hurting? How many times have we smiled on the outside while inside we were breaking into pieces? That is emotional baggage, pretending we are fine when we are not. And the more we hide it, the more it grows. To truly move on, you must give yourself permission to feel. If you need to cry, cry without shame. Tears are not weakness, they are the body's way of washing out pain. If you need to write, take a pen and paper and pour every memory, every thought, every emotion onto the page. Don't censor yourself, don't polish your words, just release what has been trapped inside. Sometimes, the most powerful therapy is a blank page that listens without judgment. But releasing baggage isn't only about tears and words. Sometimes it means letting go of anger you have been holding onto. Maybe your ex hurt you. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they walked away without explanation. Anger is natural, but if you hold it too long, it burns you more than the person you're angry at. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of what they did. It simply means you're choosing not to carry their actions like chains around your neck anymore. And let me tell you, letting go is not a one-time action. It is a process. Today you might feel free. Tomorrow the memories might return. But each time they do, you must gently remind yourself, I have already chosen to release this. This does not belong to me anymore. It's like unpacking a suitcase filled with old clothes that no longer fit you. At first, you might hesitate to throw them away because of the memories attached to them. But once you do, your closet finally has room for new clothes, for a new style, for a new version of you. When you release emotional baggage, you make space for healing, you make space for joy, you make space for growth. Because the truth is, no matter how heavy the past was, your arms are meant to carry dreams, not regrets. Your heart is meant to hold love, not pain, and your mind is meant to plan for tomorrow, not replay yesterday. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't keep your emotions locked inside like prisoners. Don't carry yesterday's pain into tomorrow's sunrise. Release it. Cry it out. Write it down. Shout if you must. And once you do, you will feel something magical, the weight lifting, the heart softening, the mind clearing. That is the first true taste of freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most dangerous traps after a breakup doesn't happen in the heart. It happens on our screens. We live in a world where, with just one tap, we can see what our ex is doing, where they are, who they are with, and even what they had for lunch. And because of this, many people never truly let go. They keep reopening the wound every time they scroll. You see, technology is both a gift and a curse. It connects us to the world, but it also keeps us chained to the people we should be walking away from. Imagine this: you're having a good day, you're beginning to heal, you're laughing again, and then suddenly you stumble across a picture of your ex smiling with someone else. In that single moment, all your progress collapses. Your mind starts spinning with questions. Are they happier without me? Did they ever really love me? Have they already moved on? And once again, you're back at square one. Not because you still love them, but because you gave the past permission to interrupt your present. This is why cutting digital strings is not just important, it is necessary. It is an act of self-preservation. When you unfollow, unfriend, or mute your ex, you are not being petty, you are protecting your peace. You're saying, I refuse to let a notification decide my mood today. I refuse to let an Instagram story reopen a wound I am trying to heal. I refuse to let the past control my future. And some people will say, but what if they think I'm being dramatic? What if they think I still care? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it does not matter what they think. Healing is not a performance for others to watch. It is a private journey you take for yourself. If they notice you disappeared from their feed, so be it. What matters is that you are finally showing up for your own mental health. There is a strange psychology at play when we keep tabs on an ex. Deep down, we think that by watching their life, we still have some kind of connection. But that connection is nothing but an illusion. You are not connecting. You are comparing. You are not moving forward. You are circling the same wound over and over. And healing cannot happen in a cycle. It only happens when you choose a straight path forward. I'll give you an example. Imagine trying to quit sugar while keeping jars of candy on your kitchen counter. You say, I'm done. I won't touch it again. But every time you pass the kitchen, your eyes fall on those bright colors, that familiar sweetness, and your craving wakes up. You resist once, twice, but eventually you break. Not because you are weak, but because you kept temptation within arm's reach. Now think about your ex's photos, their posts, their updates. They are jars of candy in your kitchen. And if you truly want to heal, you must take them off the counter. So block, unfollow, mute, delete. And if you can't bring yourself to do it all at once, start small, remove them from your daily feed, silence their updates, give yourself breathing space. Trust me, after a few weeks, you'll notice something incredible. Your mind will begin to focus less on them and more on you. The silence will not feel empty, it will feel peaceful. And in that peace, you will finally hear your own voice again, because healing requires distance. And distance in today's world does not just mean staying away physically. It means protecting your digital space as fiercely as your emotional one. When you cut those digital strings, you stop staring at the closed door and finally notice the window that has been open all along. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on from someone you once loved is never easy. It is not a switch you can turn off, nor is it a race you have to win. It is a journey of rediscovering yourself step by step, moment by moment. But here's the truth I want you to carry with you today. Heartbreak does not define you. Healing does. Pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from overcoming it will stay with you forever. 18 minutes may not erase every memory, but in 18 minutes you can make a choice. A choice to stop reliving the past. A choice to stop chasing someone who walked away. A choice to finally give yourself permission to let go. And sometimes, one decision is all it takes to begin an entirely new chapter of your life. So, the next time your heart aches for what was lost, remind yourself your future is bigger than your past, your worth is greater than your pain, and your story is far from over. Today may hurt, but tomorrow holds endless possibilities, love, peace, growth, and joy you cannot even imagine yet. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and tell yourself, I am ready, I am enough, and I am moving on. Because the best revenge against heartbreak is not bitterness, not regret, not waiting for someone to come back. The best revenge is happiness. Your healing, your freedom.